Tonight, East Lansing City Council voted on two new ordinances designed to change the future of homelessness in the downtown environment. Good evening, I'm Ann Emmerich. News 10's Rachel Fulton was at that meeting tonight. She joins us now live in studio with more.
Yes, Ann, the City Council voted unanimously in favor on two ordinances in their consent agenda that would change how homelessness is handled in East Lansing's downtown. City leaders say these proposals specifically address ongoing concerns about camping and safety in public spaces. Downtown East Lansing, where students and residents collide day and night, is also where the city says another reality is becoming hard to ignore. People living in public spaces, sidewalks, stairwells, parking structures, places meant for passing through are increasingly becoming places to stay.
Sometimes it's just a little bit hard to bear, and they solicit and they seem to be, drunk or on drugs, and sometimes you're concerned.
Two ordinances went before the East Lansing City Council. One would redefine camping by banning sleeping or setting up bedding in the downtown corridor, including parking structures and restrooms. Another would limit how city parking facilities can be used, requiring people to move along after warnings. But neighbors say those ordinances don't address the issue of where those people are supposed to go.
People have the right to move around. People have the right to be in a public place. People have the right to sit on a bench. People have the right to close their eyes on a bench.
If a homeless person were to punch me or something, that's already illegal. If they were to harass me, that's already illegal. So what this legislation does is criminalize them simply for existing.
The city says enforcement would come with outreach, requiring officers to first offer services and shelter options.
From what I can tell, that emphasis on services is really like masking and obscuring the violence of the bill, especially because there just simply aren't effective services.
As East Lansing weighs safety, compassion, and public space, discussions like this could shape not just the future of downtown, but who belongs there. These ordinances still require additional readings and final approval before taking effect, which could possibly be determined during the next City Council meeting on February 17th. And back to you at the desk.
Rachel, thank you. City leaders say they're continuing to expand resources and work with law enforcement, social services, and community partners. They plan to add a third social worker and housing support programs.